Whoop, hang on. Don't knock flowers over. Everyone, well, we're back again. And I left the computer on. Sorry about that. Oh, I'm not going to stop turning it out now. We're back again, and we do have another video here. And I've been asked many times here to do a video on abandonment because abandonment seems to be a big issue. And it's really kind of funny. I kind of like to go with the flow of consciousness as it's moving about and expressing itself, and do videos as a different theme or a different vibration shows up. And the abandonment issue has one that's come up, I think, several times in the last couple of weeks with different people, and asking me if I could assist with their abandonment issues. And I said, yeah, I can. So that's what this video is about, abandonment issues. And the first way I want to kind of get into it is to say that abandonment issues as a general rule usually happen when you're at a very young age, or especially in your teenage years. And the teenage years are crucial, in my opinion. It's when you're growing into the psychological, the mental, emotional aspect of being an adult, and you're going through all of the bodily changes that are going on. It's also at that particular point in time where you are getting in touch with your masculine and feminine aspect. And it's very important at that time, even more so than what psychologists say, that the personality is formed by the time, I think, if I remember correctly, they say a child is about 4 or 5 years old. I think they say that's the main time. I disagree totally. It's not. Actually, it's the whole total personality and the consciousness of the individual is formed during the teenage years. And if you happen to be missing the parents, or the parents have dropped out of the picture by whatever means, it's going to radically affect the consciousness, the personality, and the development of the individual in question. Now, do I have any background on this? Yes, I do. I have been abandoned 4 times from the time I was 11 to 16 years of age. And by 16 years of age, I was out on my own, had a job, living in a rooming house, taking care of myself, no parental input, no parental guidance, mother or father, both gone. And initially, what happened is my mom and dad split up. My mom buggered off one day, not a hello, kiss my ass, or goodbye or anything, and left me and my brother with my father, uh, which was an effort in something else. And we were with him for several months, watching all of the girlfriends come and go. And then one day he said to us, he said, I'm going to be taking you to a place to stay for a while because I'm going away to work. And you won't be seeing me for a while. So it ended up, we went to the Children's Aid Society, that's what they call them here in Canada. And my brother and I were split up at the age of 13. And what happened after that is we went from foster home to foster home, wonderful places, nice people. And one of them I ran away from. And ended up, what happened after that is my mother showed up again, and she had another boy wonder with her, and come and got to both of us. And we lived happily, all of 7 of us, in a 2-bedroom, 6-floor apartment. Hallelujah. Heaven in a house, as I called it. And what happened is, after about 2 to 3 months, they all decided they wanted to move. And I said I didn't want to go, so I didn't. So I went and made arrangements to stay with some friends, and because they said that I could come and stay with them. Anyways, what happened, to make a long story short, I had managed to get myself a job, a sort of kind of job, not really a job, but a sort of kind of job that sort of kind of paid you a minuscule amount of money, sort of. Anyways, I come home from my sort of kind of job one day, and I come into the house, and it was empty. I realized that my sort of kind of friends that asked me to, well, if I wanted to stay with them, decided they wanted to leave, so they didn't tell me. So there I am coming home from my sort of kind of job, and the house is empty, and all my stuff is gone too. So I got nothing but the clothes that I'm wearing. But they were very considerate. They did leave me a loaf of bread and a jar of jam in the cupboard, which was very thoughtful of them. I really appreciated that. They also took my brand new 22 that I had just bought. A 22 is well, you know what it is. Most of you do. Anyways, to make a long story short, so I'm pretty well experienced on the abandonment issues. And the part that makes it really profound for me is this: is abandonment by mother or father, and both can affect you psychologically, mentally, and emotionally, but it can also affect you physically. Because at the time of puberty, when a person is going through puberty, the masculine and feminine energies can get misaligned and go way out of balance in individuals, which can function later on in life as you become an adult and get older as organic problems in the organs, either on the left or the right side of the body. And it can also affect you at a glandular level with hormones in that particular situation. So, anyways, to move this forward, as I became an adult, and I never had the aspect of going through the teenage years, I decided to do my teenage years when I was about 30. It didn't really go too well with the lady that I was married to at the time, wonderful woman. I love her dearly. She was very helpful to me, but I was not in a position to be able to function in a marriage at that particular point in time in any way, shape, and form. I was just too out of balance. So what happened was, is I knew that I needed to do something drastic to assist myself to get over the abandonment issues, because what was doing the abandonment issues were manifesting for me is I was becoming self-destructive, not only to myself, but I was getting very self-destructive and sabotaging things that I was trying to create. And at that particular point, I was trying to create a lot of things in a positive way, and it wasn't working. I knew there was a flaw somewhere, and I finally figured out it was because of the abandonment issue. And even until just recently, the last few years, there was some residual left of the abandonment issues. They're not there anymore. But what I did decide to do was to take a look at it. And the way I did this is my brother, who got abandoned with me, took a different route than I did. He was never able to get over the bitterness and the anger especially towards my father, or our father, excuse me. And he it never failed when we got together for like whatever was left of the family social meeting get together, and you have a few drinks, whatever. He would start with the bitterness and the anger with our father. And I was sitting there listening to him one night, and I'm saying to myself, I know I'm not expressing it quite like he is, but I am really angry about it too inside. So I decided that I needed to do something about it to resolve the issue. So here's what I did. All right. Now, this is just me. Okay. This is not suggesting or telling you what to do with your abandonment issues. I'm just telling you how I resolved a good part of mine. I went back and I kind of, excuse me, looked at this from the perspective of the man that my father was. And my father was, as I understand it, and I found out, coming from a very stern and a very strict father himself. My grandfather, in my father's words, was a real prick, literally. And he used to be into a lot of punishment and he ruled the family. There were 5 boys and a girl, like with an iron fist. And it was shit or get off the pot when he told you to, and when he said jump, you said how high. That was the kind of father image he had. So I can pretty much figure carrying over, he was templated with that, a lot of that stuff. And I realized that he didn't have a really great sense of responsibility. He was full of anger. And then add on top of that, he was a soldier in the Second World War, spent some time in France and Belgium. And I did hear a couple of the stories that he went through as a soldier. So he was definitely suffering from the most popular thing now they call PSTD, I believe it is, post-traumatic stress. Plus he did a lot of drinking. Okay, self-medication without pharmaceuticals. Self-medication without pharmaceuticals. Hey, I love some of this stuff I come up with. Self-medication without pharmaceuticals. I love it. Isn't that nice? Self-medication without pharmaceuticals. It's just got a nice rhythm to it, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, don't you love it? I do. I think it's cool. All right. Anyways, so what happened is I went back and I started looking at this, and I started taking a different perspective than what my brother was doing. And I started to realize that my father was only doing what he had been templated, cloned, brainwashed, or whatever with. He was acting and reacting to the stimulus that had been put into his consciousness and his mind. And I got to the point where I didn't feel angry toward him anymore. I didn't forgive him. I don't believe in forgiveness. All right, forgiveness is not necessary. That's programming from church indoctrination or religion. All right, your soul's going to feel good if you forgive. Horse shit. All right, that's not necessary. Understanding of what took place and understanding of where the person coming from releases the anger, lets go of the bitterness, lets go of all of that stuff. This forgiveness shit is for backyard birdies. All right, I'm forgiving them. I just let it go. It's not important. Forgiving is something I'm told I have to do. I don't like doing things that people tell me I have to do. In order for me to feel good, you have to tell me that I have to forgive somebody, and that's going to make me feel good. That's somebody telling me how to do something. I don't like that program at all, especially when it's coming from religious government officials or peers in any way, shape, or form, and some of these things. So I decided that I was going to do it a way that I thought was very effective, and I know can be very effective for a lot of other people. And once I did that, I took a look at him even more, because what happened was is when he finally left us at the Children's Day Society when we were 13, I saw him once in 30 years, once. And that was when he came, he was going to, I was out west at the time, and he came to where I was staying and found me and came and actually, if I could lend him $50 so he could get gas money to go further to BC. That was my father. Wonderful guy. Best teacher I ever had. But in the meantime, so I gave him the $50. It was all I had, and that was the last. I've never seen him for another 15 years after that. Something like that. Anyways, whatever. Excuse me. So in the meantime, my brother kept getting worse and worse and more bitter and started developing all kinds of health problems. Also developed one hell of a drinking problem. And so I decided to use understanding to let go of the abandonment issues that I had. And once I did that, I noticed that my creativity started to really flourish. I didn't have a problem with my self-esteem and self-worth and my confidence level and this thing of, sabotaging stuff that I was doing because I didn't feel worthy. Okay, because at one time in this whole thing of abandonment, I felt like I was the problem. All right, and that's one of the things that happens with most people. What did you do wrong as a kid, or what is wrong with you that your parents or your mom or your dad treated you this way? All right, and it has nothing to do with that at all. All right, it has nothing to do with you. You have no fault at all. It's the way you perceive it, because as a child you're going to perceive it. Well, why am I a bad person? Why am I being treated this way? Why did he do that? Why did she do that? Kind of deal. And you grow up with that, and you have lousy self-confidence, no self-worth, and terrible self-esteem. So you have no body physical that's maintaining a balance of masculine and feminine, and the endocrine system is secreting hormones all out of whack throughout your body, and it's only a matter of time as you get older, you're going to manifest all kinds of conditions and or diseases or debilitating situation. So by doing what I did, I let go of the templating that was there. And I started to understand what was happening. And I remember, it's kind of a funny thing, as long as I can remember, in my whole life, my father never told me that he loved me. Never. Once. Not once. Even before he died, he didn't tell me that. And my brother used to harp on that all the time. And it ended up, my brother committed alcoholic suicide. He drank himself to death, and they found him dead in his living room floor one day, and with a bottle of whiskey by his side. And I was grateful that I saw fit to do what I did and go back and understand the history of my father, where he came from, and knew that he didn't know any difference. He was just being who he was and where his consciousness was at that developmental level of where he was and how he'd been done. But the situation is different now. We're more knowledgeable, we're more informed, we're more knowing, and we have more people who have gone through this who can put it into a different perspective or a different light, if you will, to explain it to people. And I tell you something, this actually works. Okay, what I'm talking about actually worked. Because when my brother died, all right, and I was there and I heard about him dying, and I'm sitting like I was sad, of course. But I knew ultimately that this was going to happen to him. I knew it all along because he just couldn't let it go. The bitterness and the anger, and it killed him. And it will kill every one of you out there who take that kind of pathway in some way, shape, or form. So I ask you to go back and take a look at it. See if you can find out about the information or any more about your parent or your father or your mother who abandoned you. Find out the history before, how they developed their personality, what was their life like as a child or as a teenager, what's their history of like it. And I find that abandonment, strangely enough, has a habitual habit of showing up in people's soul groups as a pattern. All right? So it's more than likely that if you do a little research, you'll find out maybe your father or your mother are also the recipient. You notice I said the word recipient. I did not use the word victim, because no one who is abandoned is a victim. You are the recipient of a templated behavioral module downloaded and templated into your mother or your father from previous genetic and hereditary stains and traits from your bloodline to you. When you think about it in that way, it will assist you in letting go of this particular aspect, and it will bring your masculine and feminine back into balance at this particular point. And that's what it's done for me. The other thing is this. Now, I want to do this, and I wanted to, present this to you in the right way, so that kind of get you in the right frame of mind, so to say, maybe Mel, that old bugger, he does know what he's talking about. I wanted to get you in the right mindset, all right? You can call me old bugger, old man, whatever you want, but you know what? I feel like I'm 45, and I got more going for me than most of you do at 25, 30, and you think you're hotter than a pistol, all right? I got abundance like you wouldn't believe. You've heard me use that word before. So what I'm going to propose to you is this, okay? We're going to do a little meditation. Are you up for it? Okay. It's about 300 people said, yeah, let's do it. Okay. So, okay, what I want you to do, I want you to close your eyes, pull your shorts or your whatever, or the crack of your bum kind of thing, so you don't get stuck in the middle of the meditation. Stuck in the middle of the meditation. All right. Close your eyes. And I want you to focus your attention right down to the middle of your chest. And I'd like you to take 3 breaths. In through the nose, out through the nostrils. In through the nose, out through the mouth, like you're blowing out a candle. And you're going to do that 3 times. Then just allow yourself to breathe normally and regularly. Now, you've heard me do this before, many times. I'd like you to see as a symbol of the heart center chakra, the sun. This is a universal symbol. Everyone can use this, and we can all connect in this meditation that we're doing right now. We can all join together, and we can all accomplish something, but we must use a universal symbol that everybody can relate and connect to. So visualize, sense, feel a big, beautiful, golden sun ball, just like our sun, in the middle of your chest. And that sun ball vibrates with energy, life. And as you all know, no sun on this planet, no us, period. Focus your attention on the sun ball in the center of your chest. Feel it vibrating. Feel the warm energy of the sun. Now, at this point, I want you to see a picture of yourself in the center of the sun ball. Who you are right now, this moment. See a picture of yourself right in the center of the sun ball. And just for a moment, I'd like you to see the radiation, the emanation, and the warmth and the glow of the sun ball completely filling your body everywhere until you feel this golden, energetic ebb and flow moving through your body as you breathe. As you breathe in, feel the energy coming in everywhere into your body. As you breathe out, feel the energy flowing out. In with the new, out with the old. In with the new, out with the old. Now, I want you to now see yourself moving a little to your left or your right, depending on whether you're left-handed or right-handed. It's either to the left or to the right, one step. Now I want you to add someone to the sun ball. I want you to go back in your memory, and I want you to pick out a time and a moment when you first became aware that you had been abandoned. Whatever age you were, as you can remember. And I want you to see that you standing just off to the side of you in the sun ball. Now, as you can see that abandoned you standing there in the sun ball, feel the radiation of the energy of the sun ball flowing through you. Whatever age you may be, see the sun ball's energy flowing through you, in you. Breathing it in, breathing it out. In with the new, out with the old. Now, turn and face each other. I want you to look right into the eyes of that little girl or that little boy, whatever age you may be, right now, this moment. Look right into his or her eyes. And this is what I'd like you to say mentally to him or her. I know you're hurt. I know you're angry. I know you're bitter. I know you're sad for what happened. I know it. And then say, it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And then say again, I know you're angry. I know you're hurt. I know you're bitter. And I know you want to strike out. And I know it affects you in other areas of our life. But we're going to change all of that right now, this moment, while you and I are standing in the sunball. And then I want you to do this. I want you to walk over to that little girl or that little boy. I want you to open your arms and I want you to hold her in your arms. Hug her, him or her. And then I want you to say this to that little boy or that little girl. Do you have any idea how much I love you? Again, do you have any idea how much I love you? Pour yourself into the words. Do you have any idea how much I love you? And you will feel the vibration flowing through you, as you say, and you will feel the vibration flowing through the little girl or the little boy you're holding. Say it again. I love you. It just doesn't matter. Say it again. I love you. And let the little girl or the little boy know just how much you love them. Say it 2 or 3 times. Now, if you meditate, I suggest you do this before your regular meditation for a period of 2 weeks, daily. 5 minutes. Change it around a little bit and modify as you see fit, but keep the basic protocol intact. Now, step away from the little boy or the little girl and stand beside each other. Reach down, grab hold of his or her hand, and say this to her or him. From this point on, we're doing the journey together. We leave behind us what's in the past, and we walk toward what lies in the future. Feel it, be it, do it. See yourself walking forward. Now, take one deep breath, inhaling in through your nostrils, exhaling gently through the mouth. Open your eyes. You know what? That's a damn good meditation. I hope some of you use it. You will be amazed at how it will change for you. I think I'll leave it there because I know I can feel and sense some of you are going to relish in the moment. And I hope this helps you going forward. Because I sometimes really wonder if most of you who may listen to this video really know how much I love you all You have no idea.